Now I will demonstrate API flow of Milestone 1 of APDM. Here we will cover both ABA creation and ABA verification. In ABA creation, we will create ABA using Aadhaar OTP method, and in verification, we will verify ABA using ABA address, ABA number and mobile number. Let us first see ABA creation. This is the Postman collection for ABA creation. As you can see, we have around 6 to 7 API in creation flow. So let me first show you the workflow of these APIs. I have created one flowchart. Let us first move to the flowchart. In ABA creation, first we will take input Aadhaar number. We will encrypt this Aadhaar number using RSA encryption, and we will pass in the first API. Before taking this ABA number as an input, you will give a consent language to the user. Then after passing this Aadhaar number, in the next API, we will give Aadhaar OTP and a mobile number for ABDM communication. In this API, we will pass the encrypted OTP. Then we will check the response of the API enrollment/enroll/by Aadhaar API, and if the mobile field is null or the mobile field is not same as input, that is, we have user has provided us in this API, then we will first update the mobile number using these APIs, and if the mobile number field is not null and the mobile is same as the input mobile number, then we can directly move to the next flow, that is, we will check is new in this API response. This API response, I have highlighted it. If is new is true, that means this ABA account is newly created ABA account. Then we will create ABA address flow for that ABA account. And if the is new is false, then we will move to the profile APIs. That means this ABA account is already created and we are showing the profile details to the user. And we will also give one option to create ABA address, so that if the user wants, they can create one more ABA address of their choice. Then we can directly move to the ABA address creation flow, and then again we will show the profile details. So let me now go all of the APIs one by one, and let us move to the Postman collection. So first of all, before all the APIs, you have to create a session token. You can create session token using dev.abdm.gov.in/gateway/v0.5/sessions API. In this API, you will provide your client ID and secret that you have received from ABDM. Let us hit this API. Here I have received this token. You just have to copy this token and pass in the API in authorization. You can pass the authorization is in headers like this with bearer, or like this bearer token, and here you will pass the session token. Let us now move to the body of this first API. This API is enrollment/enroll/OTP. Base URL of this API is abha.sbx.abdm.gov.in/abha/api/v3. In this API, in login hint, we will give Aadhaar, and in login ID, we will pass encrypted Aadhaar. In scope, we will give Abha enroll. In header, you have to give the request ID and timestamp. Let me hit this API. As you can see, after this API, you will receive one OTP on the Aadhaar register mobile number. So on the screen, you have to show the last 4 digit of this mobile number. So let me check the OTP. I have received the OTP. So we will encrypt this OTP. So for encryption, you have to write your own service, and for public key, you will go to this API and you can copy the public key. Here I will be using a website for encryption. So let me first give my OTP. Now I will copy this public key. You can store this public key in your system and use it. And in cipher type, you will select the third option, that is RSA/ECB/OAEP with SHA, this last one with MGF1 padding. After clicking on encrypt, your OTP will be encrypted. See, in this way, you can encrypt your mobile number, Aadhaar number, Abha address, everything. So let us move to the second API. Here I will give the OTP that I have received on the Aadhaar linked mobile number. This transaction ID you will copy from the previous API. Now here you have to give your mobile number that user wants to link with ABDM. So if we move to the flowchart, you can see in the first API we have passed the encrypted Aadhaar number, and now we are giving the OTP and the mobile number in this API. So here we have timestamp also. For timestamp, I have created one variable. So you will find the format of this timestamp in this Postman collection. As you can see, this is the format for this timestamp. Now let us hit this API. So as you can see, my account is successfully created, and this is the XOR token of my account. Now if I scroll down, you will find mobile field. So as you can see, for our case, this mobile field is same as the input mobile. So we don't have to update the mobile. If you are getting null or a different mobile number here, then you have to call the update mobile APIs. So for our case, we will directly move to the ABA address creation. Let me show the flow chart. Now we will check is new. After checking the mobile number, we will check is new flow. So let us check is new. Here is new is true. So I will create ABA address first. In your case, if this is new is false, then you will directly move to the profile API. As you can see in the left hand side, these API for ABA creation, ABA address creation, these for mobile update, and these for profile details. So you will move to these blocks according to the result of this API that I have shown. So for in our case, is new is true. So I am moving to the ABA address creation. So for ABA address creation, first we will use suggestion API. In this suggestion API, we will receive some of the suggestions that we can use for ABA address. And after that, we will create ABA address. So let me directly copy this transaction ID. We will need this for the suggestion API and move to the suggestion API. Here in transaction ID in header, you will pass the transaction ID from the previous API, whichever API you have used previously. In our case, I have used this one. If you are doing the mobile update flow, then you can copy from the mobile update also. So as you can see, I have received some of the suggestion. So you can pick any of the suggestion, or you will give the user to pick ABA address of their own. So on the screen, you will give both options. User can enter their ABA address themselves, or they can use the suggested ABA addresses. So let me pick this one. For creation, we will use enrollment slash enroll slash ABA address API. Here I will pass my ABA address and the transaction ID. So let me copy the transaction ID. Transaction ID stay the same throughout the process, and limit of this transaction ID is around 20 minutes. So but I will suggest you just copy from the previous API. In headers, we will give request ID and timestamp as always, and the auth token. As you can see, my ABA address is successfully created. Now if we move to the flow chart, after ABA address creation, we will create, we will show the profile details to the user, and we will give one option to download ABA card. So how you will show the profile details? For profile details, you will copy the XO token from the enrollment slash enroll slash by Aadhaar API. Let me first copy this token. Don't confuse this token with the session token that we have created earlier from the slash sessions API. This we are taking from the enroll by Aadhaar. So let me copy this. Now I will pass the XO token in the profile slash account API, and as you can see, I have received my profile details. So these profile details you will show on the screen according to the test case. You can also download ABA card. So I will use same token for ABA card. As you can see, we have received the ABA card. Let me try again. This time this is not rendering, but you will get your ABA card using this API. You have to just pass the X token. If you want to test this flow again, then you can try giving a different mobile number in the second API. That means user wants to change the mobile number. Okay, then in the mobile field you will receive your old mobile number here, and then according to algorithm, this mobile number and the response mobile number is different, so we will call the update mobile API. In update mobile API, we will give the login ID as mobile number, that is encrypted mobile number, and the OTP system will be ABDM, and transaction ID we will pass from the previous API. And in the next API, that is enrollment slash auth by ABDM, we will give OTP, that is encrypted OTP, and the transaction ID from the previous API, and you will be able to update the mobile number. And when you will call the get profile API, you will able to see the new mobile number that user have provided. Now let us move to the login APIs. For ABA verification, we have this mode of verification. User can either give their ABA number, ABA address, or mobile number. So accordingly, you have to call these APIs based on the input. And for ABA number and ABA address, we have two mode of OTP. User can select Aadhaar OTP or mobile OTP, that is ABDM linked mobile number OTP. API endpoint for both Aadhaar OTP and ABDM OTP is same, just the scope will change. In scope, you will use ABA login and Aadhaar verify for sending OTP to Aadhaar, and ABA login and mobile verify for sending the OTP to ABDM system. For login in the first API, you will give your encrypted ABA number. You will encrypt your ABA number and give here. Then you will receive one. Let us try this. Let me copy my ABA number that we have created. Let me move to my profile API to get the ABA number. So in the encryption API, I am giving my ABA number. And in login ID, I will pass that encrypted ABA number. In headers, we will give auth token in authorization, timestamp, and request ID. As you can see, since we have selected Aadhaar verify, the OTP will come to the Aadhaar registered mobile number, and OTP system is Aadhaar. So you will receive one OTP from Aadhaar. So I have received the OTP. Let me encrypt this. So in the next API, we will provide encrypted OTP. The API name is profile slash login slash verify. Here I will pass the encrypted OTP value and the transaction ID from the previous API. In headers we have auth token, timestamp and request ID. As you can see, we have successfully verified our ABA. And similarly, we will receive one X token for getting the profile details. You can copy this token and get the profile details and the ABA card. For profile details, the API is same. You will give the X token in the header with bearer. And for ABA card, the API is same. Here also you will give the X token. Now let us move to the ABA address verification. So for ABA address verification, we will be using this API, that is health ID sbx slash abdm slash gov.in slash API slash v2 slash auth slash init. Here also you have two mode of the verification. One is using mobile OTP, that is you will receive the OTP from ABDM system, and one is Aadhaar OTP. In Aadhaar OTP, you will receive OTP from Aadhaar. So let us try this. I will copy my ABA address that we have created. For this time, let us try this ABDM one. Both of these APIs are same, just the auth mode is different. In headers, you will pass auth token. Now I will copy this transaction ID and I will use this in the next API. The next API is v2 slash auth slash confirm with mobile OTP. I have received the OTP. Let me encrypt it. For v2 APIs, you will use the same public key, but the cipher type you will choose RSA slash ECB slash PKCS1 padding, the second option on this website. I have encrypted the OTP. As you can see, we have received the X token. After getting the X token, we will call the profile API to show the profile details of the user. And in headers, we will pass X token with bearer. As you can see, we have received the profile details. To get the profile details, we can use this v2 slash account slash profile API. And to get the ABA card, you will use the v2 slash account slash get card API. If user is selecting the Aadhaar OTP method, then for init call, you will use v2 slash auth slash init with auth mode Aadhaar OTP. And for OTP confirmation, you will use confirm with Aadhaar OTP. and we can use again the profile details and the get card API. So let us move to the mobile login flow. In mobile login flow, first you will give the mobile number of the user. So let me encrypt my mobile number. For V3 API, I am selecting the third option, encrypt. I am copying the encrypted output in the login ID. Here OTP system will be ABDM and login hint is mobile, because we are passing mobile in the login ID. Now in headers we have timestamp, request ID and authorization. Let me hit this API. Now the OTP will be sent to your mobile number that is linked with ABDM. So first let me copy the transaction ID for the next API. The next API will be profile slash login slash verify, and in this API scope will be mobile verify. Now I am passing the transaction ID. Let me confirm I have pasted it properly. Okay, now I have copied the transaction ID, and now let me encrypt my mobile OTP. One 75597. So after hitting the profile slash login slash verify API, you will receive this token. This is not your X token, because with one mobile number there can be multiple ABA numbers. So you have to select a particular ABA number. So as you can see, for my mobile number I have attached this ABA number, and if I go below, and this ABA number also. So in the next API we will select the particular ABA number that we want to log in. So we will copy this token and we will use in the next API, that is profile slash login slash verify user. Here in body I will give the transaction ID. Let me copy. Okay, let me first paste the T token. I have copied the token from the previous API, and now I am pasting it here with bearer, BEARER, paste. Now I am giving the timestamp and request ID, and in body you will give ABA number that user wants to log in and the transaction ID. So let me copy transaction ID now. This is the transaction ID. And let me copy the ABA number that we have created just now. As you can see, now we have received the X token. So you can use the X token to get the ABA card and the profile details. Profile details, you will use the profile slash account API. In X token you will pass the X token. As you can see, we have Wait a minute. I think I have selected the wrong ABA number. Let me confirm once. See, we have selected this ABA number that is ending with 7040, and in profile details we are getting the same ABA number, that is 7040. So we have selected this ABA number. Similarly, for ABA card you can use account slash ABA card API. So this way we have covered ABA creation flow, ABA verification flow. So let me summarize. For ABA creation, first you will give Aadhaar OTP, then you will give Aadhaar number, then you will give Aadhaar OTP along with the mobile number field. Then according to the mobile number in the response, you will choose if you want to update the mobile number or not. And according to this is new variable, you will select if the user is new user or the ABA number for that user is already created. So if the user is you, then first you will show the ABA address creation screen. You will give some suggestions and then create ABA address. If this is a old user, that is new is false, then you don't have to create ABA address for that. Then you will directly show the profile details. And if the user still wants to create ABA address, then you can again call the suggestion API and the ABA address creation API. For verification, you will use ABA number verification and ABA address verification and mobile number verification. You can use any mode of the input. And in ABA number and ABA address, you will give two options, Aadhaar OTP and mobile OTP. And in mobile number, first you will take input as mobile number, then you will give OTP, and then you will select which ABA address, which ABA number you want to log in.